Now, almost every application needs to store data. For example, let's say you are building a social networking platform. You would need to store users' profile data, their posts, their messages, etc. And if you're building, let's say, an e-commerce platform, you would need to store information about the products, the sellers, the customers, reviews and ratings of the products, etc. Okay? And suppose you're building an application-based cab service. Again, you would need to store the information about the customers, the drivers, the trips, and much more. But where and how to store this data? Now, there are several ways in which you can store the data, but there is no the best way. You have to select a way to store the data depending on the requirements and the resources you have. Now, whenever we talk about data storage, probably the first thing that comes to mind is a DBMS, which stands for Database Management System. For those who are not familiar, DBMS is a software that sits in between the application and the data. Basically, it stores and manages the data in a certain way. And if the application wants to read or update the data, it sends a request to the DBMS using a query language. For example, SQL is a query language. Okay, but why do we need a DBMS? Why can't we simply store our data in a simple text file? Maybe in some structured format like JSON or CSV or XML. Now, storing the data in a text file might work fine for trivial applications, but when your project evolves, you may find yourself having to deal with a lot of complicated stuff. For example, suppose you have stored user details in a file, and now you want to know the average age of all the users. So you would have to write a script which would parse the file, extract the ages, calculate the average age, and return the result. And similarly, you would also need to write a script to update and validate the data. And not just that, what if the data gets so big that it no longer fits on a single machine? You would have to manage the data and perform operations on different machines. Or worse yet, what if multiple users access your data concurrently? This could get extremely complicated. And these are just a subset of problems. Okay, so this is the reason why we use a database management system as a middleman between our application and the data. A DBMS will take care of all the above problems and many more. Okay, and that is the reason why every application, small, medium or large, uses a DBMS to store and manage the data. Now, there are hundreds of DBMS software available to choose from. And again, no DBMS is the best. Different DBMS software products are optimized for different use cases. So do not think there is one best DBMS for all the requirements. You have to choose one based on your requirements. Okay, because some applications would need faster access to the data, some would prefer data safety, some would need to perform data analytics, so they would need a certain kind of DBMS. So there are all kinds of requirements, and hence there are a variety of DBMS software products available in the market. And you can also use different DBMS for different parts of your system. Okay?